Ladies, gentlemen, boys and girls, I hope you're all fine, all healthy, all safe, all sane, not like myself. This is going to be a 2 hours long deep dive into digital. Probably some of you will feel that this step back to square one. Probably it will give you more contextual perspective on the whole thing called digital. Myself, called Andras Bozan Bodrogi, I'm doing this as a part of the Hemi program with the Hungarian almost famous music business school that is almost a 15 years old school teaching managers, bands, musicians, and all who are interested in music industry related knowledge. Myself, my main expertise is in digital. I'm working on the digital field since it started, luckily. I never planned to do this. I also started as a musician. I'm still playing music to keep myself sane, especially these days, writing songs and producing, but I'm not playing live for almost, oh my God, 20 years. I'm pretty old. I was born on the other side of the digital gap, but luckily with my work, I could follow what's really happening around us with the internet technology and with mobile devices and how these affected our life, artists, creators with intellectual property in music. I started at the EMI Music, working with my favorite bands like Depeche Mode, Nick Cave, Goldfrapp. I'm a dark guy. And also started to work with digital distributor. Currently, I'm working with the British online company, or not online, a digital company, also a distributor and a label. It's a London-based company called the State 51 Conspiracy, where I'm actually managing a rights management team, helping independent labels and artists managing their rights and controlling their usages on YouTube, Facebook, Instagram, and all of these things. And let's just start, okay? Let's jump into it. I'm sure that you are now struggling with this whole situation. I'm sure that many of you just realized, or some of you realized, that digital is there and digital platforms is now probably an only resource that you can connect with your audience. And then what you can right now use, sadly, we are closed down and the live industry is like under huge challenges, and that's happening with us. And probably you somehow changed your mind about technology, and you probably never ever thought about technology like the German Emperor Wilhelm II done. That when the automobile technology just arrived, he was like totally against it. Of course, around 10 years after, he collected around 30 automobiles, like most politicians are doing these days as well. But anyway, technology is there, technology is surrounding us, and probably you would be in a really, really huge shock if I would give you this IBM Simon Personal Communicator from '94 and ask you to do whatever you want, or ask you to do what you really do with your mobile phones in your hand, connecting with people, probably listening music as well. This is it's a really fastly changing environment, and with companies that are probably kind of same age like yourself, or even younger than myself. And this chart just shows how in the last 60 years, the lifespan of such technological companies are like shortened and shortened. And you see that the companies and technological background we are speaking about is how old and how fastly changing, and these companies are coming and going, and applications are coming and going, and we have to be there if we want to somehow keep our finger on the pulse of technology and digital music. This year actually, and the last year for me, actually generated a massive boost. I don't know, I don't want to feel myself bad, but whatever I started to spread as a knowledge, or whatever I try to inspire with artists and labels, it's just started to happen by this pandemic, and it's sad in one side, but it shows that everyone turned into digital. Everyone had to turn into content and had to turn into their devices, and even spending a massive amount of time with media and with content, including music as well. Like you see, 1.5, almost 90 or more than 90 minutes people are spending just with music. But most of our time and most of our days we are spending in front of a computer. Hopefully you guys not, you're mainly, hopefully you are with your instruments in your hand and creating music and creating songs as a creators. And here we are creators trying to somehow build existential background with music. That was always really difficult, and that was always a kind of dilemmatic situation, to do something, to do art, because art is fun. We are here to create. That's what I do believe. And if we have skills to create, and you have skills in music, please never ever stop, even if you're not earning enough money. But this sort of creation and this flow is the greatest, I do believe. And this is why you're here, and you have to send out your own message. You have to bridge your own thing and your own life and your own suffering with music, with fans. And I hope that you will earn money and you will realize the two sides of the story of the coin. First, the creative work, not just focusing on money and on existential background and existential safety, but just do this for the sake of creation and sake of music. And this is really, really important to somehow keep in deep, but at the same time, with your creative ideas and works and generating something that is practically also helps you to do it and helps you to continue, and you have some sort of revenue and honey to collect, and that enables you to continue. You need to have, and you need to somehow help by someone who have the business mindset, who can help you to execute, to reach, especially these days on digital fields, on digital platforms, with content, with your idea, your fans, and your consumers, let's say. You have to somehow decide, and you have to be aware about if you're owning your own sound recording rights, what's happening with your sound recording rights. It's not a problem to sign with the label, even if it's an indie label or a major label, but you have to know what's really happening with your sound recordings, how you can control those, or if they are controlling those sound recordings on digital spaces, on platforms like Facebook, on YouTube, and what's really happening and what you've got from those labels. If you sign with the labels, if you are giving them the rights, sound recording rights for ages, probably for decades, or you stay in DIY and you practically own the rights and try to build up yourself step by step, and finding comrades, finding help, finding a manager, finding an agency who could help you to do many, many things digitally. Offline versus online, yeah, it's a kind of sad right now. Again, I have to refer back to this whole pandemic situation. What is really happening now? We have just online. I mean, the importance of online platforms and the relevant content, it's massively increased. I see a massive revenue boost from the last 365 days. In the company where I'm working, coming from digital platforms, coming from YouTube, etc., etc. And I've seen that most of the artists and most of the labels some of them just started to realize how important is fan engagement online and how important this whole technological environment, while the tech companies, that the recording companies shifted the power to, sadly, started to realize that there are massive demands from artists and creators to somehow monetize their ideas and monetize themselves online, even from a room, to monetize a live stream or paid live streams. Or here are totally new ways of of monetization, like NFTs, non-fungible tokens. Just the last couple of weeks just was about that. Or you just heard probably last week on OnlyFans, someone just reached $1 million revenues on content. Sharing content exclusively with fans. In this space, we have to brand ourselves. This is a Crowded House shirt that I'm wearing right now, a band from New Zealand. But you could see, and probably you could recognize all of these logos and how this is burned into our retina in the last decades. And we somehow have to think about not just as an artist of music and do something audio purely, but we have to think about as visual artists as well. We have to extend our playground, and we have to think about the visual representation of our band and brand, and we have to think what sort of platforms we are using to build up such web presence, such branding on around our art. Great music, is that all? Yeah, we kind of somehow need great music. What is great music? I mean, that's impossible to define, because tastes can be like so colorful, and we are surrounded by a massive amount of music. It's another joke. I was spending the last 4 days with a friend searching for different trap music and rap music from different countries, like Greek trap, Senegalian trap, Chinese trap, and I found everything, and we just had fun to recognize the language, what could be that, and a massive amount of really unique and fun stuff. Senegalian rap was like massive. Great music, is that all? Why we need some sort of transparency and openness with content, why we somehow have to stay authentic in online spaces. We have to stay ourselves. We have to think about, are we open to show anything else besides our music or besides our song? And if we do, what should we show, and what depth we let, how depth we let in the fans or consumers or the audience while staying authentic, how we can stand out, how we can be unique, because we are surrounded a massive amounts of music from everywhere. How we can be relevant with our music. I mean, like, should we really think about just to do trap because this is trending right now, or we should just let it go and we should do whatever we want? But if we do this, and if we create in a certain niche genre, how we are targeting ourselves, how we can find the right audience to our right music, how we can be relevant for them at least. Yeah, consistency and regularity is just enough to create one single album in every second year with the great songs next to each other, or if we are thinking about a little bit more long-term and more sustainable, more regular and more consistent way of releasing music. Most of the experts, like streaming executives, thinking that this is about algorithms as well, not just for humans. To feed the algorithms, you have to be a little bit more regular than just an album in every second year, or put out the album at once. Why you are not just actually feeding the technology and the algorithm as well, and make the connection always there with your fans, with content that you build around your own music. And of course, staying inspired, and as I mentioned, and I do believe, creation with music should be fun, and that's the greatest fun of all. But we would like to be available on all relevant online services, stores, and platforms to find and connect there with our audience, and generate, of course, and optimize our revenues with lots of investments, because we have to invest a lot into music, time, studio, production, content, videos, etc., how we can practically collect and control the optimal revenues as well, while we would like to represent ourselves on the global scene. global scene and reaching the global consumers that are actually standing in front of endless choices of music. Like myself, in the last 4 days, endless choices just in trap or rap music from all around the world. Even being personalized by algorithms, by the platforms, by the services. I guess now the Spotify and the Deezer and the YouTube, that I used to check all these kind of different genre, different trap music, will now offering me and think that I'm a huge, I don't know, trap versus word music fans. So they will probably will push me more content by algorithmically based on my previous consumer history. Google has a concept called Gen C, Generation C. Watching you, probably all of you are part of this by birth, by the age, but this is not a demographic group. This is some sort of attitude. This is your consumer behavior, how you use technology and how you use your mobile phone that is probably part of your body. And this is the first thing that you touch every single morning, and you're bringing this to the toilet with yourself, and etc., etc. It's everywhere with you, and you connect with massive amounts of people a year, and you're part of these communities, and you're probably also kind of active part of the communities, curate and create content and share content with people. Then you are a part of a generation C, the 4C. It's like connect, community, curate, and create. Probably the concept of moving pictures or online video is not there anymore. You are using different monitors and watching content without a border between these devices and gadgets. Probably you are able to create content with your mobile. You know at least the basic softwares to do that. And you also probably know the basic skills, and you have those skills to sell yourself and content. So you're there powered by this technology, inspired by the community. You probably fall into fear of missing out or fear of being offline because you want to stay informed and participate what's happening around you. You always need to be somehow online, and the poor internet connection is probably the worst thing that can happen with you. So you're part of this contemporary consumer behavior that's happening all around you. Those are the people who are searching for your music as well. Those who are wants to keep the control, wants to consume content without restriction on the device, what they have front of them in their hand when they want what they want. They want relevant content, authentic content. They want to find something that they search for. So if I want to search for Greek trap, I want to find Greek trap immediately in that service. So all of the creators and all of the Greek trap artists should make their content available on all devices, on platforms, 24/7 access to find me at that moment, at that micro moment when I search and I find, and I want to find content. Business is probably all some basics, yeah, no borders, yeah. The world is open, but it's a massive amount of bands and massive amounts of creators wants to reach the same, wants to build somehow global reach to their music in a data-driven world where all platforms are giving you back data that enables you to find out how those content and how your music and how your brand is performing on each of the platforms. We will go into a little bit deeper than this. All the consumers want to discover own probably music or physical formats, experience in live. Hopefully we could be there already again, share this experience, share the music, and help to others discovering music, and all these things and all these verbs backpinned by like business and different kind of functions that all went online. And I think it's there are no any territory of the music industry right now that wouldn't be at least experimented online with an application, with a platform, touring even now these days, Stage It, Dice, buying online concert tickets, or marketing and promotion like Groover from the Jump program from the French-speaking countries is a great tool as well, or merchandise, or even use an instrument online, and such functions like management, A&R, funding, production, or even collecting your mechanical rights and royalties. There are particular services and particular solutions built to find musicians and artists to use this. Few of the numbers, what's really happening right now, and in the last 20 years, in the last 1 year, there was a 7.4% increase in revenues. It's a massively digital revenue-driven world. As you could see, around almost 70% of the revenues coming from digital sources, and this is massive. Want to go back. Streaming and the paid subscriptions accounts, and those numbers grown again. We are still waiting for the streaming business model to cover everything for us and pay back enough money to us, even if it's ad-supported or just based on subscription. We can see decline in digital downloads. No one really wants to own digital files anymore, or less and less people. And we've seen revenues, declining revenues of physical formats as well. But this doesn't mean we can't sell physical formats to our fans, for example. And as I mentioned, the massive amount of the majority of the revenues coming from digital sources, backed up by this whole streaming revolution. Again, year over year, it's constantly growing, and the paid subscription represents more than a half of revenues. More and more countries last year just adding 12 new markets from 2019, where streaming is growing and the consumption is based on this, some sort of access to a massive amount of music and access-based consumption, not owning the product or owning the digital files. We have to have a digital music aggregator. I guess some of you have, some of you are contented with it. I know you are all from this region, Central, Eastern Europe, Southern Europe, Balkan, Baltic states. We've been somehow, and let me be non-PC. I'm a non-PC guy, generally. We've been first like invaded by North American big distributors when it started. Probably 15, 20 years ago, digital distribution. I don't know if anyone remembers IODA, but Orchard is still there. And they came into our markets and they signed us and signed our labels, and probably we stuck into this contract still. Probably some of you already could get out and found some new generation, the second phase of distributors coming to these markets, who are not just distributing your music and you can't reach them personally, but they give you a little bit more. Digital distributor normally is a service company that manages your digital music content. You license this content to them, hopefully with great conditions, and that they help you to meet technical requirements that certain digital service partners need, and then delivering the relevant music content in the relevant format. Can be anything these days: videos, voice recordings, lyrics, and then they are signing with you an agreement, you with the right holder, he's referring back who is the right holder of your sound recordings. Are you able to actually license your own sound recordings to a distributor or not? Are you with a label or are you with a major label? So you are there licensing this content, you agree and give permission to these companies to manage your content and manage associated rights for different usages, manage your and control rights on YouTube as well, hopefully, if the company is a YouTube company as well. They are actually changing, converting your content with the technological requirements, and they're sending to the digital music services. They are managing the content there, and they're uploading, entering the metadata, and setting permissions, policies, rights, what you give them, and license them, and then they report you back, hopefully, on the right way, and they don't play you this game that you have to reach the minimum, etc., etc. So you receive reports back and pay, and you receive the revenues as right holders, and hopefully communicating. These distributors are constantly in connection with all digital music services in order to help you to gain more and more, and help you and assist you and enables promotional and marketing activities, highlights, pitching music to Spotify, to Amazon, to YouTube, to Apple Music, to Deezer, to SoundCloud, to Beatport. These are all available ways and all available services of digital distributors. Depends who you chose, but these services should do this, especially these days. It's not just enough that the distributor delivering your content and delivering your music to these platforms, that they need to give you some sort of support and more work and more participation in order to generate win-win situation, because many of them actually works on a revenue share models, not the first group, because if you have time, you have the relevant knowledge, you have all the resources, money, you have language skills to communicate with them, then do it yourself. Probably you have to prepay for delivery for different formats on a yearly basis or a monthly basis or just one-time fees. And then you choose all these DIYs, CD Baby, Ditto Music, TuneCore, Amuse, AWO, FineTunes, Catapult. Those are many. But probably you won't find this satisfaction coming from these companies, because you need a little bit more, you need a little bit more planning, you need a little bit more background, you more help, more possibilities, and hopefully those bigger, major, huge distributors that are available on the market and who are covering the market these days, our markets, are these Believe Digital, the State 51, Orchard, Rebate, In-Groups. For example, in Hungary and Central Europe, the Via Music distribution is also a strong one. If you would like to designate most of the to-dos to the distributor without prepayment for uploads or anything, then you go for the revenue sharing models, sharing the revenues between 50 and 100%, whatever ways you choose, the DIY or the major big distributors with most services. This always means what they share with you when they tell, hey, I pay you back 100% of your revenues. This means always after a payment of royalties and of course deduction of the shares of the certain music stores rate. Music stores like Apple needs like 30%, Spotify needs his share, YouTube needs his share, and some of the distributors have better deals with these services. Some of the distributors have more close contact and contract with these tech companies and services. So it's always kind of difficult, but you have to a little bit ask around if you wouldn't have a distributor, or if you're not satisfied with it, try to change it and try to find better deals, better rates, if there are any kind of entry costs, and to see what music stores they are distributing, most of them covering everything. probably the best if you find someone who is a YouTube partner as well, or a Facebook partner company covering YouTube management, YouTube rights management, Facebook's rights management as well. You always have to see the regularity and the format of their reports, if they give back you data about the performance of your content, of your releases, and many of the DIY playing with you that they don't take down your content. I once experimented one single song of mine, sound recordings. I don't tell you which one right now. It's a DIY, and I still couldn't take it down because they just not exist anymore, or no any consumer relationship, and that release is still there. I don't know how to take down. I'm trying to use my actual distributors' help to do this, and hopefully it will work. But some of them even ask you money to take down your content. Reliability of the distributors, yeah, there are pros and contras on each online, but I think these days to choose a music aggregator, digital music distributor, these are the 4 things that are crucial, and I would say try to stick to those. You need to have some sort of direct partner relationship, some contact person to talk with. They call label managers or partner managers or key account managers of these distributors, who are helping you to find promotional features, user interfaces where you can find the data and you can find your performance and find your revenues to see in real time, for example. They have embeddable features that enables you to share your music downloads or streams. Optimally, they are a YouTube partner network, so you are enabled to monetize YouTube perfectly and maximizing the possibilities from YouTube. They also do channel monetization, not just content ID management. And if they are helping you to pitch music to playlists on Spotify or on, again, YouTube and all these kind of digital service providers that I mentioned, digital distributor partner needs you to be a legal entity minimum and sole entrepreneur, ability to invoice. You have to own the master rights, as I mentioned, and you have to give the front cover in this format. Accurate metadata you need. Metadata is a massive problem, a massive gap in the digital part of music, especially in the collecting society side, but you have to be really, really careful with metadata, and you have to give them lossless digital music files and all other assets they need to promote your music, to pitch your music, like biography, press photos, website links, social networks links as well. Partnering with YouTube, just particularly about YouTube. How yourself as an artist earn money from YouTube, from your music, depends on the relationship with YouTube and the third parties. Is there someone between you and YouTube? I would say you can start to monetize your channel on YouTube after reaching 1,000 subscribers and 4,000 hours of watch time in the last 12 months, but you shouldn't do it because you won't have access to the content ID as a sole channel creators. You won't be able to create music-related assets. That is really important, to have all the revenue sources from your collecting society as well, as an author and as the right holder of your sound recordings as well. But these are 4 ways you to be a musician or a creator or a label. Artists in the YouTube partner program, as I mentioned, the YouTube partner program eligibility, 1,000 subs and 4,000 hours of watch time. And then you can start to monetize the channel. But again, with original sound recordings, with your original music, I wouldn't do. If you would be like a teaching music person or want to be as a creator, more like as YouTuber, as an influencer with music, and not really using original sound recordings, that could be a perfect way to monetize YouTube, but you have to create a massive amount of content. This is the way that probably most of you are using, affiliated with a distributor, and the YouTube pays the third-party distributor your revenues, coming from ads, coming from the subscription-based model, YouTube Music, coming from the channel monetization, if the distributor is doing channel monetization as well. And then based on the contracts you signed with the distributor, he pay you out. Delivering a full catalog is crucial and essential to YouTube to maximize your exposure and your revenues as well. You can probably sign by a label as an artist, then YouTube pays hopefully to the label. Maybe between the label and YouTube, there is a distributor. So you are cutting the slice of cake into a little bit smaller and smaller and smaller. So smaller and smaller revenues can come out at the end. You always have to see this and balance this. If you have a great label deal or a great offer from a label, you can do this, but probably not. Then go for mainly for the deal with the distributor directly and find a distributor who has direct contract with YouTube as well. Publishing deals, if you're an author, publishers also managing composition-related rights and compositions on YouTube, and have direct deals with YouTube as collecting societies as well. I mentioned here these three ways of monetization. YouTube is managing the rights of some recordings via the YouTube Content ID, content recognition system that enables you not just to monetize your own videos, but to monetize and earn money from videos using your music in their videos, so-called user-generated content. So this is a claim of monetization on any videos using your music or using your music video. And if you receive this from your distributor or anyone receive this as a channel owner, this is not something, a block, it's not a copyright strike, it's just a monetization claim. Your video stays there public, it's just ads might appear on these videos that generates revenues to you as a right holder. And in the massive cases with artists I'm working with and labels, because they are not giving us the monetization of their channels, they are receiving content ID claims on their channels, and they are starting to complain, hey guys, why are you doing this? Why are you blocking our videos channels? This is not a block. This is not a copyright strike. This is what we do on behalf of you as a right holder, monetizing your videos via Content ID. Delivering art tracks to YouTube Music. Art track is an asset probably you've seen with the cover and with basic metadata, and delivered to the YouTube Music service as a distributor, generating revenues from this source as well from YouTube. And as I mentioned, the channel monetization that happens right after you're eligible, against 1,000 subs, 4,000 hours of watch time within the past 12 months, and then you can start to monetize your own channel. You need lots of content, of course, and you need to think a little bit different about content, and you have to own 100% of the content copyrights, or at least license those that are third-party content, ask permission and use for monetization and keep the monetization rights as well. I mentioned music-related metadata. That is a massive amount of textual format, data about data, a dynamic, growing metadata world, and different types and databases, not always and not optimally communicating with each other in digital spaces. The technology happens so fast that lots of actors, especially collecting societies, publishers, are trying to follow. New services are coming up and trying to bridge the gap, trying to share all the revenues coming out from Spotify, YouTube, like transactions like tens of millions a month. that is really, really massive amounts of data. Still currently changing whole metadata regulations on EU-based regulations, I mean. So understanding at least the basics, it's really, really important. But I guess you know, I would say there are two groups of metadata. We call those referential metadata. These are permanent, won't change except the label or the publisher if you change the label of the publisher. But you could see this name of your name of the artist, album, track, duration, label, publisher, catalog ID, the UPC code that is on every single product being sold anywhere. You need a UPC code. You need the ISRC code. Probably your distributor is giving this to you, but if you're an own label, you have your own label, probably better you ask your own ISRC code, and you designate your own ISRC codes to your own sound recordings. ISRCs, International Standard Recording Codes, these are identifying sound recordings in online spaces. These are mainly related to the labels and the sound recording right holders, sadly not communicating with ISWC, the International Standard Working Code, what collecting societies or PROs designating to the compositions. But never change the ISRC if you already have one and you designated one ISRC to one sound recordings. Please don't change it. Don't try to designate new ones. It can create a massive chaos on YouTube, for example, or in any places, digital online. There are format, and if you're in electronic music, BPM, it's also metadata reference to your music. There are descriptive metadata. These may change, like drums, similar artists, influences, mood, location, tags, hashtags, keywords, biography, all the textual stuff, visual stuff, and URLs as well. Referential metadata helps you in rights management, optimally manage your right, and tracking your royalties and optimizing your monetization and revenues, while descriptive metadata help you to be more retrievable. It helps in discovery, promotion, being on the list of suggested contents, for example, by algorithmic environments. One single thing that makes it a little bit more scary, in the last 20 years, we receive less and less and less and less amounts of money for one single transaction. We see a really, really tiny amount of money at the end for one single stream coming from 10 different platforms these days. Why? The number of transactions within these services are massively, massively growing month over month, not generating enough revenues still, but at the same time, the catalog, now we are talking about, I don't know, 40 million tracks available or 40,000 tracks on a daily basis being delivered to Spotify. It's an insane number. And therefore, can you imagine that in these days when it happened this, just sold CDs and be there 2, 3 radio channels and 1 TV channels, and probably they've been more detectable how they use your music, how many times they play your music. Now we are speaking a massive amount of transactions with a really, really small amount of money at the end. So therefore, more and more tracks, various type of usages. The collecting societies are trying to find a way and find the solutions to find time to time back with the right revenue, the right authors. Hopefully in the sound recording and more in the sound recording environment, it's more safe by distributors, but still lesser or small amounts of royalties, and the metadata, missing out metadata or entering wrong metadata, this can cause a kind of long-term disaster. So be accurate and clean and optimal with your metadata. This is something crucial. And please always check through 10 times and ask others to check through your metadata before you go into digital distribution or before going into any kind of digital platforms. The descriptive metadata and search engine optimization helps you to be more retrievable and on websites with your content. Your brand can be more retrievable on search results, and they have keywords not just in search engine optimization, but search engine marketing or in any keyword-based advertising model, Google AdWords, AdSense, Facebook ads, etc., etc. These are all working with these keywords. So finding your relevant keywords, building your own keyword cloud and using this consistently is also something in long term will pay you out. So there are some relevant words, phrases, and combinations of words that can be associated with your brand, your music, your brand, your hit song, the band members, certain career milestones, anything that is relevant to you, anything that your future users will search for using these related search terms, like I did search of Greek trap. I don't know. These terms should be used on every online profiles, tools you manage, on website, in everything of textual formats, biographies. If a blog asking you to write an interview with yourself, that happens, or ask you to write a PR article about you, that happens. They won't even change, they copy paste it, no offense. Use this in a heavy keyword based and try to search engine optimize your textual formats, your PR material as well, your biography, because this on long term will pay you out. And use this on every social media platforms related to every content that enables you to tag, to hashtag images, videos, blog posts. What sort of music you play, some directions that can help you. How would you really describe the music of your favorite artist? How would you describe your own music? Even ask your friends, check analytics. YouTube analytics even gives you the traffic source reports. What sort of keywords your fans are using to find your music. And these are some examples to be keywords heavy in descriptions related to your song or to your music. Like many music lovers of his generation, James Euro has a passion for both the emotional songwriting and atmospheres of artists such as and similar artists, Nick Drake, Radiohead, Sufjan Stevens, and visceral beats and dynamic rhythms of Justice, Chemical Brothers, or you can go a little bit into a different direction, goes more depth, intimate and laid back, this newly released folk blues, even the format of the album, as I see these surround sound recordings, feature concert harps, instruments, smooth vocals, new songs, and new arrangements of earlier songs, taking you once again to the desert Southwest. Two different directions, but keywords heavy as much as they could. Tags, hashtags, as I mentioned, social platforms, content sharing services give you all the opportunities to do this. So please add these words that are likely to be searched by your fans and future listeners. And these are, again, few ideas, but I don't want to repeat myself. Guest artists, collaborators, co-authors, moods, venue, if there is them. And in YouTube, it's really, really important. Don't mislead and don't try to trick out algorithms. On long term, this is not pays you out. In long term, this would generate just click outs, generates disappointment in the listener or in the searcher. Planning digital release. I hope you're still there. Some of you I see having fun on the sofa. Planning a digital release. Yeah, to do a plan. Most of the distributors, I would say, can send your music in 48 hours. But I mean, if you really use just 48 hours to send your music to be released, that must be your, that must be the creative idea that you release immediately. Lots of EDM artists are doing this, or rap and hip hop artists are just putting out immediately anything, but they are thinking more about the frequency, and they are putting out music every single week. Are you able to do that? Are you a musical artist like this or not? This is, who knows, maybe you are. But to plan a release doesn't mean that you have 48 hours to do everything and to reach everything that I mentioned before. It takes time. It takes at least a month to an aggregator, deliver everything to all services, to reach the pitching positions, if they could reach anything like that, highlights, if you need sponsors or pre-negotiated support from anyone on marketing, or you need more time. You need to build up a more structured plan and strategy, plan of content and planning of paid media, where you will spend money on it, because most of the artists are just putting out something, not communicating with content at all regularly, and they just put out something in every third month, no offense, and then they put paid media. Oh, let's do a campaign on it. Here is our new stuff. Buy it, download it, and then they're curious why this is not working so well. So to plan everything and give yourself time and plan something a little bit more structured, content-based strategy is needed. You need to have a hygiene work for each of your releases, I would say. You have to somehow think about your profile image and artist logo, optimized for each digital music service and social media platforms. You have to upload and update that related to that new release you have. Some of the for example, YouTube is time to time using the album cover for topic channel logos and profile images, and artists coming to me, oh, please change it. Guys, pre-plan it. You have lots of time to pre-plan it, even your biography, to relate it to that release, those 1 or 2 sentences that can be catchy and not, I'm born in here and do this. We have 15 words, again, keywords heavy, 1 sentence on the latest release, some of the milestones, short bit on the background, things that aren't backed up with facts, please don't do that. Try to be simple in language and shorter direct sentences, and probably use similar artist comparisons. You have to prepare your audiovisuals. You have to create some sort of strategy how you build with audiovisual content in multi-format, on multi-platform. How will you do this to Facebook, to YouTube, to Instagram in 15 seconds, in 30 seconds, in 3 minutes, in 15 minutes? GIFs, shorts, stories, all of these things need to be somehow planned. If you are planning live events, especially these days, everyone sitting in the room and trying to do some live stream events, short live behind the scenes on Instagram or on YouTube stories as well. Prepare all the images that really relevant to that releases. Try to deliver your lyrics to Music Match and Lyric Find with your distributor, because then it can be consumed while I'm listening your music and reading your lyrics. I do that, or creating lyric videos as well, or voice recordings to work better for audio recognition tools as well. Many distributors are asking you to send a little voice recordings pronouncing the bands, the name of your bands on the right way. If someone's sitting at home and asking Alexa, not being like massively crazy when Alexa doesn't understand it very well. So Google Knowledge Panel. If anyone search on you on Google what to do and how to do this, it's not a surprise. You can also control this by yourself. asking from the same Google accounts that you're using as a brand, as a band, and you go into this link or just type in Google Knowledge Panel, and many massive mistakes can happen in these Google Knowledge Panels related to an artist, not the right links to the right services, not the right releases, but etc. This is also something that you can pre-plan and strategically create and control, like your YouTube official artist channel, Facebook artist page, Instagram business profile with your Instagram shop, your Spotify artist page with profile, verified profile, where you can build up your gallery, your photos that you just prepared, with your biography that you just prepared. You can create playlists with your influences, with your favorite music, with your own music. You can create canvas, again, content backed up to your Spotify presence, pinned track to highlight whatever you want, a playlist or a track, sharing social media links, and also live events, again, if you can get back to there. Apple Music, Amazon, Deezer Backstage, Bandcamp profile, SoundCloud profile, these are all things that need hygiene work before you release your music, or most of the time you have to do this. So Apple Music for Artists is available. You can apply for it yourself. You receive it. I received it in 2 weeks. I'm an indie artist, not even creating music just for fun because I have no time, but I received my access to my profile in 2 weeks from Apple Music for Artists. Go for it, and you will receive a great dashboard with your performance on Apple Music. It's the same on artists, on Spotify as well, with your Spotify for Artists profile. This is the same on YouTube with your official artist channel that even gives you more analytics, more tools for artists. All of an artist's music in one channel, actually, it's merged to the OAC. It's an OAC upgrade that you can ask from your distributor that gives you a little note next to your channel name, and all the topic channels, previously lost channels, third-party channels is merged into one with the subscribers numbers, with all tools that enables you to engage with your fans from one place. It's more search-friendly on YouTube Music. Your OAC is favored by the search results. And as I mentioned, the musical note is the sign, and 2 auto-generated sections on the channel main page. One is for your playlists of displaying for music videos, and one for your albums. You can't edit these. Sadly, you can just actually deactivate it and preparing your own sections on your YouTube main channel, but you shouldn't deactivate it. And there are new tools to control your profiling, on, not just on your channel, but on the whole YouTube environment via the YouTube Studio, Pressgate, official artist channel, events. With time, you will be able to hopefully upload merch. These all will be launched in the next few years in our markets as well. So please keep your eyes open on it. Deezer Backstage, once Deezer had this, and then they stopped it way before Spotify for Artists, way before official artist channel on YouTube. Deezer was one of the first gave out actually tools to artists directly, being controlling their presence on the platform, but sadly those are disappeared, and now there's something generating something new. It's under development. So via the distributor, you might ask changes on your profiles, profile picture, bio, events, etc. Amazon Music for Artists is also something is in work, in beta. Try, maybe your artist who can go through and have and receive the access to this tool. Backstage for Artists, again, gives you a platform and a dashboard that enables you to control your presence and your branding on these platforms. Frequency and regularity of your releases, what format you use, album, EP, singles. I met a guy in the pandemic online called G.R. McKee. He's a streaming executive of the Alamo Records and had a total different perspective on the music industry these days. He said it's about streaming industry. I mean, if you see the digital revenues coming from streaming, everybody wants to be streamed as much as they want to, and everyone wants to reach playlists, etc., etc. Mr. G.R. McKee generated and built up a complete strategy just on streaming because he thinks that you can do it as an artist even without any gatekeeper between you and your audience. You have to just think about your music as a content. You have to think about the regularity of your releases. And you have to think about these platforms as algorithms and analytical platforms giving you back data about your audience to target your next release to that audience and somehow favor the algorithm with more regular content. Editorial playlist versus algorithmic playlist. He even told that algorithmic playlist works way more better than editorial playlist. Why everyone wants to reach editorial playlist based on his experiences working with massive amounts of contemporary hip hop acts on United States, who are some of them actually releasing 52 songs a year and try to actually feed the algorithm constantly. I wouldn't say that you have to do this. I just wanted to give you some sort of different perspective on the whole algorithmic based technology and how you feed and how you build connections and how you not stop to build the connections and build the attention on your music. And watch your analytics and the streaming cycles when one song is practically burns out. When you see this in the analytics and shows you most of the data, Spotify for Artists platform shows you this. And then you can pitch, of course, via distributor, or you can use the pitch tool for editorials. It's pretty difficult, but imagine if you started to work and generate more and more listening time, listening minutes for the algorithm, it will be a you will have a more chance to get into editorials as well. He was speaking about fan base hacking as well, finding other artists and similar artists, and they're using their fan base. Okay, he's a little bit close with the niche hip hop, trap, and this music, but make a search, G.R. McKee and the streaming industry, and this whole concept is really, really interesting and worth to consider, at least to balance with releases in the same time. And and he said, music is your content, but you have to bridge with content and surround with content your music, and there is no excuse. You have to do this regularly, and there is no such thing as too much content these days. Connect with content. How to use, what platform you use, how to be relevant there, how to be relevant with the format on these platforms. Again, you're an artist, maybe you just wanted to be in the music, you don't want to do anything, I just want to play music. Guys, leave me alone, I don't want to create visuals, I don't care. But at the same time, maybe you're a creative mind and you want to extend your playground and do with visuals as well, and you have the message that can be backed up with colors, visuals, GIFs, whatever is available to you. Just think out of the box and open the storytelling in multi-formats and multi-platform ways somehow. Experiment with freely available tools and features. Is free. A massive amount of applications enables you to do whatever you want. Creating small GIF files, creating textual subtitle things, create code cards, whatever. Just think out of the box. How to use the relevant platforms where your audience are. More profiles means more time to invest, and more profile means more content to produce, sadly. But somehow set a long-term and short-term goal. What platform you use for what? Try to find key performance indicators, so-called KPIs, even the dream goals. You want to reach 10,000 people in Spanish-speaking countries, and go for that. Build up the keywords, build up the whole release, and build up the strategy on this if you have that dream goal. Define the roles and tasks, who will do what, who produces the content, who shares the content. Maybe your fans will produce the content to you. When and how regular you will share your content, on what platforms, and who will build and manage the paid media campaigns when you invest money, and who will do that, who will control that. Building all these profiles, again, consistent branding, visual elements I just talked about, connection between the profiles, website, YouTube, Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, all bridging these content ways on each of the platforms and transfer the viewers between those. What kind of content you will use, entertaining, educational, inspirational, what topics around, like your event, your tour, your new release, your launch, I don't know, what format you will use, textual, image, video, short video, and then planning the paid media, not just, okay, here's the release, let's push some money into it. No, please. Try to plan that. Try to find the best point and try to build up reach organically everywhere. Feed the algorithms, feed all these platforms, because that's what they need. Sorry for that. These are tech companies and algorithmic environments, with humans at the other end who would be probably care about your music, care about your message, hopefully. So paid media must be planned and find the rightest place, which platforms you will use for paid media, what are your main conversion goals with your campaigns, sell tickets, downloads, sell a t-shirt, merch, but you have to strictly find this and strictly plan this, and then decide what ad formats you will use and enables you to reach these goals. What are your targeting strategies on these platforms? How you will target your audience? Who will you target based on what keywords? Based on what tools that these platforms enables you? Someone please, can you just switch the mute of the microphone? Thank you. How to create campaign creatives is also to create content for paid media campaign is another knowledge. It's another science, let me say. And then how to tune this, recalculate based on continuous measurement of both ways, the organic content, how it works, listen your audience, think and plan based on what you learned from them, and do and execute based on your plan and think, and then always review what's working, what's not, how it works, how it not, why it worked, why not, both organic and paid media. It's better if you build up a content calendar, be consistent, planned and scheduled, of creation and sharing, where you can use even just a simple Excel sheet. But if you do content calendar template in Google search, you will find even this one, I think. And just to use what platforms, what day, who will share it, what format, what tags and keywords you will use, and who will be the responsible person to do this. And try to be relevant and attractive with content. As G.R. Mackey said, there is no thing too much content. So producing content can cost, but I do believe in contemporary tools and everything around us, and free tools are there, multiple formats, thinking out of the box, be again keywords heavy if you do textual format, and content based of other content to covers, remixes, influencers, favorites, background stories. This doesn't cost lots of money. Visuals are always more attractive. So again, extend your creative playground. Be not just an audio artist, be not just a musician, but be a visual artist if you are open to do that, or collaborate with other visual artists and other content creators, do cross-promotion, branded content. or share and curate content created by others that is actually fits into your idea, fits into your message. If you see an article that actually talks exactly about the same thing that your song is about, share it and put this into your calendar and share as a content, as something entertaining, because you can inspire, educate, you can even show how to play your song in guitars, in bass. A massive amount of tutorials are created by your fans or by someone else. That's also good. You can use those, even start to build up fun interaction with your fans, because they are creating those videos. Educate everyone with your own songs who wants to play your songs. Be convincing, conversational, and not just always sales and promotional, but you can use all these directions and all these creative formats. There is one single thing that I can't go into deep because I think my time is soon finishing, but this is something I would really, really advise you to watch. It's a content multiplier formula. It's something how to create as much content as you can in one single production day. Or if you already pay out a cameraman and a massive crew to produce a video, please plan as much content and record everything, not just your official music video, but record the interviews, the behind the scenes, the acoustic sessions, everything on that same day. Create more formats. So to plan your production days on a little bit different way and write your scripts, write down everything and shoot the videos in few days, every creative formats, and repurpose that material. So you will have probably 8 hours of documented material, recorded material, and you just have to actually play with those and play with the different length, different formats, shorties, GIFs again, everything, stories, do live from there, whatever. Even if you do an interview, you can, and you do it in English, but more and more technologies that are recognizing the speech is more and more developed. So you can even gain out the textual format of the speech, what you tell, or song lyrics. Use this as textual format and mix with of course, subtitling, mixed with blog posts, interviews, quote cards. Edit your videos based on different social media platforms requirements, as I mentioned, repurposing the contracts, and in multiple platforms, opening the storytelling on multi-format way. And of course, again, use metadata, keywords, hashtags, tags on the right way, create quote cards, use your own images and text part of the lyrics, and post those on Facebook and Instagram, create blog posts about the interviews or the behind the scenes, and then you can create long posts on Facebook and Instagram. And of course, you can also upload these long posts as inserting these long post links into the YouTube video that is about the behind the scene, that is about the interview, and etc., etc. So content multiplier formula, it's also a really, really interesting method. It's not for musicians, it's for e-marketers or brands or anyone who tries to create content in a little bit more focused, more savvy way, especially in production and money, how you do this with tools and easy way. Video formats, of course, YouTube is not just about official music videos, but massive amounts of video, creative formats, and came out in the last couple of years. It's a album release strategy on YouTube, for example. If you announce an album, how to do an album teaser, a live stream announcement, or premiering the video, and optimize the branding at the same time. When you release a single, or every singles after release, you do the lyric, the audio video, the behind the scenes, so different creative formats you use. Again, you optimize the branding of your channels and connect the videos with cards, with end screens, with descriptions, creating playlists to generate more and more watch time, feeding the algorithm as well. You can ask the distributor to use campaigns on your videos. Previously collected user-generated contents via Content ID can be used to place your new video with a card in a tool called campaigns. You ask the distributors, hey, can you do a YouTube campaign with my new video? That means he will put your new videos as a card on maybe thousands of videos collected previously because they used your own music. And those user-generated content can be used as campaign tools as well. And when you release an album, you can do live stream launch party, studio sessions, making ofs, additional content, probably that you created in one single day or 2 days of production days. And again, update your channels, optimize for watch time, for algorithm, so that metadata, keywords, tags there on YouTube as well. I don't want to speak about Tour and Beyond because my heart is breaking, guys. I so much miss live music that I'm dreaming about it. I once being like, I passed a joint to the singer of the Idols once in somewhere in a music festival. I played drums in a Metallica. I can't. And once I was walking with the singer of the Echo and the Bunnymen in Budapest. I don't know. I'm dreaming so many live music that I crazy. But there, when you're Tour or Beyond, don't stop uploading tour trailer, live streaming, artist vlogs. If you meet another artist, collaborate with them, do a video, a short video, premiere those. Just be consistent on YouTube as well. Never keep your YouTube channel quiet because YouTube works organically. YouTube channel grows organically, sadly, not sad, but this is the way. It not from a day to another kind of performance. I love Woodkid, and I think Woodkid done something beautiful on social media, on his Instagram, just to go through the Instagram and the Facebook and the YouTube and check. I know he's an artist with probably a massive resource. He's also a visual artist. He's a film director. So he's a massively extend his playground, not just with visuals, but with audio and anything. And yeah, playing on Jimmy Kimmel and being like nominated to Grammy as a video, whatever. But just to see what sort of content he creates and how he synchronized this content creation and content activation just on these 3 platforms, Instagram, Facebook, and YouTube. Just in the last year, it's something that I would say worth to watch, and all the product placements there, shops there. It's not always sales, not always just pay, buy this, buy that. It's connect with the audience, doing a lot of conversational content on Instagram, answering questions in every second week or on every Friday himself from a room. So it's something, again, he stayed authentic, stayed relevant. It's conversational. He somehow found this balance to be open enough and to connect with his fans. And he does the same in YouTube, segmenting, publishing the long formats on YouTube, but not publishing the same on Facebook. Not uploading all the same videos to Facebook, but using YouTube community site as well with different platforms. So it's a massive and beautiful way to work with multi-format content on a multi-platform way. Please try to watch Woodkid if you're like or not. Direct relationship is about if you need a website or not. I do believe that all these tech companies are a bridge not a bridge, but a gap between us and fans. And your fans, it's not yours there. It's subscribers and followers and likes happen on that platform. And more artists are thinking about how to build direct relationships and not just band camping or Bandcamp, but via our website to build up some loyal programs and build a database around your music and has your full control on the relationship between you and your fans. Being a little bit, I would say, probably many of you laughing about me, why you need a website, no one cares. But again, search engine optimization wise, it's good. Better web presence. Again, you do content. You can build a more loyal and more direct relationships and sell music and sell your merch and sell your physical directly, building in a database. And this won't disappear, hopefully, in long term as any social media sites. Do you remember MySpace? I don't know. So database development, email collection, somehow direct relationship with your fans, always enable your visitors of your website if you do a website, and try the best places and even social media you can use to create database and create a direct relationship, even with paid media campaigns, remarketing lists. Those people who are reacted on your advertisement can be retargeted. These are also database that development, really useful databases that helps you to reach them directly and think about some sort of multiple income streams and build up on a long-term basis different physical products. And if you are self-physical, maybe using Bandcamp store or whatever, and via the website, embedded the Bandcamp store in your website, but build as much direct relationship with as much fans of yours to create something long-term that enables you to probably sell a way more useful VIP package or a massive premium content or massive premium physical stuff that I buy as well. This is mine. Hey Bush. It's not just because of this, but this is actually, I have a massive amount of back pain right now, so my mouse is on the Kate Bush box set. Collect your data. Data is important. I don't want to repeat myself, but the help of all available analytic tools of services, creating even questionnaires on your fans' consumption patterns, who they are, from where they are, what age group they are from, what online services they use, if they prefer to own any kind of physical products, if they're collecting vinyls, for example, or cassettes, or t-shirts like myself, in what form do they listen music, what this device they use, or what operating system, what streaming service they are use. If you realize that most of your fans are on Spotify, probably focus more on Spotify, etc., etc. Do they use illegal ways to download music? Then use BitTorrent as well. Sell your music via BitTorrent or build database via BitTorrent as well. It's available. Again, find the right question, find the right report that answers your question, and then go into that reports, find the insights, see data, can be fun, and then based on that data, do the action that you actually looked for as an answer with those questions. Understand how your content strategy performing, for example, on YouTube, build up different creative formats. If you remember that table that need a content strategy just on YouTube platform, find out who's watching which videos, which type of creative formats are working well. Check your engagement metrics, see who's liking it, who's putting to play, what playlist they are putting to it. Plan your content based on what's working well. And these are some questions. How is my channel doing? Are people watching my videos? How long they are watching my videos? Who am I reaching with my videos? How these viewers finding my videos? Via mobile, via playlist, via search? What search terms they are using? Do they like my videos? Are they using or interacting with the cards or with the end screens? Are they subscribed, or are they already subscribed viewers and watching your videos? How the subscribed viewers engaged with your channel, etc., etc. And there is the same on Spotify: insights for artists, demography, geographical data, even the source of listening, playlists, similar genres, artists. You can see the fan engagement, what kind of unique consumption habits they have, who are your new fans, where they are coming from, which countries they are coming from. Artistspotify.com. There is a YouTube analytics that enables you to do this, even the new one, so-called YouTube analytics for artists. If you download the YouTube Studio application and you already have the official YouTube artist channel upgrade, you will have this tool and you will receive a great YouTube analytics for artists to even give you a more deep dive into the songs and the consumption of your songs, demography, performance, etc., etc. It's really, really interesting. Of course, there are Facebook, Instagram analytics, all data that you have to somehow control and use, measure, and fine-tune based on that data, because your main objectives are to understand the present and the recent changes of the recording industry, to practically somehow build your future and build a future on digital music consumptions. You have to somehow understand the business models of digital music services and how they generate revenues. Now it's all about streaming, how they can be optimized, how they can generate more revenues, even if we are reading about they're not paying enough revenues to artists. How to build up digital distribution for your releases. Understand the needs of the optimal musical related metadata, not just for distribution, but for retrievability, for search engine optimization on online spaces. Please try to know about how to maintain consistent web presence of music-related artists and brand visuals. Extend your playground and try to create visually as well. Be aware about ways how to find, manage, and communicate with your fans with content, because you have to bridge these days with your music, between your fans and music with content. Try to be clear about the effective use of the relevant platforms. Don't use TikTok just because now everyone's using TikTok, but you don't have fans from the age group 14 or 13. But if you want to find the new audience or want to experiment with it, go for it. Just find the goal and be strategical there and use the relevant content formats of that platform. Be prepared to participate in the YouTube Partner Program with the Facebook Rights Management as an artist or manager, not to lose out. Be aware about how you can control your rights, how you can control the third-party usages of your music, and even how you can build promotion on those third-party usages, like I mentioned with campaigns on YouTube. YouTube Music Video Distributor, in order to monetize, in order to maximize and control all related revenue sources, and then collect, measure, and learn from your data as much as you can. This program gives you a possibility to one-on-one mentoring sessions. So if you just don't hate me right now, giving you as massive amount of information, and you don't want to see me again, they can probably understand. But I'm great to see you, both, any of you. For example, Ivor Experience, I use your Q&A video to show an example for other artists, how to use a 30 minutes long video, long-term, generating watch time, easy way, with a basic production, what you do with video. Some of you I already seen live. Tomartway, I've seen you, Eugenia, Scholar Voice, Oh, I've seen you many times. So I don't want to sell more myself. That was the 2 hours. Within the Hemi program, you have a possibility to be a little bit more specific with your own questions, because I said this is something general. Maybe some of you thought that half of this was already known and totally pointless. But if you do, and if you want to meet me for a one-to-one session in May, it's 1 hour. I would like to kindly ask you to prepare at least a 10 minutes long short presentation. It don't be tralala. I don't need PowerPoint or anything. Just to present yourself, your band and brand, genre, how many releases you have. Are you with or without a label? Who's your distributor? What platforms are you using? Who creates content and what type of contents you're creating? How you use paid media if you're planning paid media campaigns? What platforms you use for paid media? What ad formats? What are your major goals? And tell me some sort of short, mid, and long-term goals, and form any kind of questions. Hopefully I will be able to help. My expertise is more into content, rights management on platforms. I'm not really strong and I'm not really interested in paid media. I don't know why, because that for me it's too dry. I know the basics, but I think there will be other mentors who are more experienced with paid media. And that was it. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Andras.
It was just 2 hours. I'm pretty sorry. I know that this is a massive amount of information. I will share the PDF with you. I'm an open source person, and whatever questions you have via Jolt or via the program, drop me a line or please apply for a one-to-one. I would be happy to open myself to any of you and share more knowledge, because I do believe in creation, I do believe in music, and I think that's the best fun in life. So continue, create, don't fear of technology and digital, and and hopefully we will be open again. Stay safe and sane, whatever happens.
Yeah.
Cheers.
Thank you, Andras. So as Andras mentioned, if you'd like to join to the one-on-one sessions, and if you just didn't send questions up front, you have the possibility right now to send some questions and send this 10 minutes long, some kind of short presentation of yourself. And we can arrange a one-on-one meeting with Andras in the next weeks.
I mean, now we have probably, it was designated for 2 hours. Am I right?
Yeah.
Do we have now 30 minutes more?
Do you have time?
I mean, I was designated for 2 hours and I'm at home, closed down. So I don't have anything else just to watch pointless series and maxing out Netflix or HBO. Or whatever.
Okay.
I don't know. I'm not into old science fictions. So if anyone has any sort of questions in the next half an hour, we can stay here, or we can let you go and practice, play music, or watch pointless series on Netflix.
Okay, then George. Okay, then so please raise your hand, and we will do as much as we can. So, Esther.
I love Esther.
Hey, what is your recent favorite pointless series, what you are watching at the moment?
That's a good question. I started to watch the Blue Book projects based on like 50s alien interactions and versus areas 50. So this alien stuff, and I watched this spin-off of the Sherlock Holmes on Netflix. And what else? And I watched documentaries. I'm a documentary fetishist. I watched Framing Britney Spears, and what the whole American industry done with her. It was horrible. And I love the Billie Eilish documentary as well. That was like a massive beauty of, I don't know how it was real or not, that this just really happened from their bedroom or not. But I advise to watch Billie Eilish documentary and the Britney Spears as well about openness and paparazzis.
Actually, it's not the first time. Sorry, carry on.
No, please.
Not the first time I listened to your presentation, and it was really heavy this time. And it made me think that, do you personally think the whole streaming industry or music industry, let's say, is sustainable when we are not creating art, we are creating content, and it's getting cheaper and cheaper and in massive amounts? So what do you think?
Yeah, I don't want to go into really dark. Personally, I do believe in creation. I do believe that creative activities are something that adds to our life, especially artistic creation and music creation. It added and gave me a lot to my life. So it's a basic point that, yeah, creation is fun. I try to inspire, try to give, even facing this situation that somehow losing the focus just on music and started to be someone who needs to create content around their music while this is happening and dictated by tech companies. I don't know, but you can find your way. I try to speak about balance and try to speak about that thin way how you can stay authentic and stay yourself, but give you the creative playground. So you don't have to create shitty content. It's not about that. You can create great content. I mean, that's why I try to show, for example, Woodkid. Again, maybe he has more money or something, but the content, visual things can be beautiful, can be quality. The visual communication around your content can be nice, can add something great and beautiful. Technology can add something to it. VR, AR can be used creatively. I don't want to draw a line between shitty content or mainstream and quality content, because this is based on my own taste or based on my own visual culture or experience. But I don't see this as a massive devaluation. But the other part of your question, it's a devaluation of music related to the payment, what should relate to the artist and should be paid to the artist. And sadly, I'm working in the music industry for many years, 20, 25, 30 or something. And I've never seen artists being paid fairly, even before the streaming. So they weren't paid fairly when the industry sold CDs or cassettes or vinyls. The hype was a little bit bigger around artists and this whole fame and fanciness of artists and such things. And yeah, those decades were like more focused on more platforms and or less platforms, just MTV. So it was a little bit less, probably more simple, but those artists never reached those platforms, were always there and never generated money, never received money. I wouldn't like to say, but most of the creative artists trying to build something on intellectual property never reached their goals, the majority of them. But I would like to see as much as as much artists to reach that goals, and I'm trying to, yeah. inspire, and trying to give directions that are relevant, that I've seen working, for example, related to rights management on YouTube or on Facebook. That is a complex stuff, and half of the industry is totally lost with it, even Facebook itself.
Okay, thank you, Andras. Dimitris?
Hello, can you hear me?
Yeah.
Yes, hi, Dimitris.
Hi, hello. Thanks very much, first of all, for this presentation and all this knowledge sharing with us. I wanted to ask, picking up on Nestor's question, I wanted to ask about, you point out that you need to share as much content as you can, but in a technical perspective, could it be turned against you? Because we all know if you post too much, not on an artistic perspective, but on a technical, if you post too much, you get fewer likes sometimes. So you have some posts with like 2-3 likes, 2-3 shares. And could it be that the algorithm would turn against you then and not show your posts and not show your content to people? Because we've seen that sometimes when it's been a while that we haven't posted anything, and then we share a post, much people comes and shares it and likes it and stuff. But when we post every day, let's say, you get like 10 likes, and that might be distracting the algorithm process. Is it right, or is it just, I don't know?
It's a great question. It's a beautiful question, Dimitris, and you are totally right. And this is really it's a unique stuff. It's related to every band and related to every brand. It must be like measured by yourself based on analytics, yes, and must be designed by your own way, how you keep yourself authentic. As I mentioned, I didn't really mention that you have to share content every single day. I'm sorry if this came out from these 2 hours. Even if I said that sentence that there is no such thing that's too much content, it was said by G.R. McKee, who is hip-hopping in America and supporting now on building up a massive reach on streaming services, using and measuring the data, measuring the analytics, tricking out a little bit the algorithm, feeding the algorithm. So back to your question, Dimitris, it's a beautiful and perfect question. Because what I say, I think it's besides the stuff, authenticity and what you still feel comfortable. I think it's important. I think it's important to you can't prevent yourself not to communicate audio, visually and visually these days. So I wouldn't say that please don't do that. So you have to somehow think about multi-format. And then the frequency is not about every single day or every time or every hour, but please be regular. What I see is like artists sharing one single video on YouTube and then 4 months nothing. And probably using Instagram and sharing like 20 something in 1 hour. So I would say a strategy and the right frequency, but regularity must be there. So I wouldn't say that you have to overshare and overfeed the algorithm and generating less resultive contents that's engagement-wise performing shitty, and then it sends this message to the algorithm, oh, this site is not that good, or something. And also, I would like you to see in the long-term goal, you're bridging your music with content to your fans. But your fans, you should build loyal and direct relationships somewhere outside or Bandcamp or somewhere where you can monetize more fairly. But you use the content to attract the people. And at the end, somehow in long term, you should somehow build something up as a label for your fans or as an artist for your fans?
Thank you very much.
Okay.
Thank you for the question.
Lucia, please.
Hi, first of all, thank you for the presentation. It was very insightful now, and I can't wait to study like all of the information in it, because now it was just, you know, a lot, as you said. I also would like to apply for one of the one-on-one consultations.
Welcome.
Yeah,
Please.
but I wanted, is it okay, Joel, if I ask like a specific question about my YouTube channel?
Yes, please.
Okay.
It's up to Andras.
Okay.
Yeah. This is it.
Okay, so I used to be signed to a record label up until last year. They own like all of the master rights, everything, and that is in the past. But right now, what I want to know is, how do I take back the monetization from now on? Should I talk to the same company that does the monetization for them, or should I hire somebody else? Should I do it myself? For example, we have released like one video since we've separated from the label, and that one is still being monetized by them, and that's very frustrating. Help, please.
Oh, okay. So if I understand well, you already have a back catalog, a catalog of releases from the last couple of years that owned by a label, and then they own the YouTube channel as well, or you have your official artist channel you already have?
I have it. I have access to it, but they do as well. It was like a joint.
Joint. Okay. So I don't know. It feels like that. Hopefully, you have some sort of, let's say, optimal relationship with these people, and you have some sort of contracts related to the previous sound recordings that you still receive revenues or still receive royalty shares. I hope.
No.
Then I would say, I mean, you never, how you sign the contract, or what sort of contract you sign? I'm sorry, it's probably something like internal information that we don't want to share with everyone around the world, around Europe. But it's I feel for you. I was in shitty contracts age 17 with my band in the late 80s, and I never earned any money from my first 10 years of musicianship, because I wasn't aware about how to deal with this. So I don't know if the sound recording rights is related to them. You can't do really a lot. You can probably renegotiate your contracts related to those releases and sound recordings.
I don't really care about the old ones, because those are like a done deal. But what comes next? I'm going to release a new EP this year, and I want to know how to like separate, how to split the monetization. Is there a way to do that?
It's not like that is a good question. I mean, like, if you you have to deal with them. You have to find a special contract with them. Yes, Rod?
Yeah, if it's a brand new song, you have to register it on your name to the collecting society. It's not a question, because
no. So I'm sorry, you misunderstood this. The question was related to the YouTube channel. How two different entities can monetize the same YouTube channel at the same time, while half of the releases is related to sound recording rights to the previous label, but the new sound recording rights related to Lucia. It's not about authorship. It's not about composition level rights, because if Lucia wrote all these songs, she will always receive the copyright, the author-related royalties, even after the old ones and the new one as well. The question is, who's owning the channel? And I think it's probably, I don't know if this, you had a contract related to the YouTube channel, for example, who's owning the channel?
Nope, there's nothing in the contract about it. So.
Okay, if the label will not do anything managerial on your YouTube channel in the future, you should have the YouTube channel, this YouTube channel for yourself, and create more music on it. But it always, if it will be an official artist channel, I don't know if it is, your previous releases will be listed there as well. And if those releases will be watched or consumed by your new fans, etc., they will generate revenues as well. And I hope you will generate revenues as well, even from those views that actually consumed your previous releases. I would say sit down. If you can't, try to find a stronger manager and go there and
yeah, just talk to them.
Push them into the corner and said, guys, the win-win situation. If I take over the channel managerial rights, the ownership of my channel, and this is it. Or guys, if you want to do the monetization, let's renegotiate, because it's not fun for me not earning money from those songs that I'm singing or I'm playing on guitar or anything like that.
Yeah.
I know it's a heartbreaking situation, because in the early stage of our careers, we all been misguided by our lack of knowledge and contracting on a pretty shitty way. And it sounds like this. I'm sorry, Lucia, but if I can help more, I can. But the best thing, if you can negotiate and sit down with them and try to build up some win-win situation, because you want to continue to create. It would be stupid to create another channel. It wouldn't be good to them for your catalog. So yeah. it's.
We've worked so hard. It's almost reached 100,000 followers, and it would break my heart to give it up.
No, you shouldn't. No, you shouldn't. You should somehow find a win-win situation, but not being contractually signed to this label based on your sound recordings. The sound recordings are yours. The new sound recordings are yours. And the channel should be yours as well, because it's under your name, not under the label name. If I
yeah, exactly
understand well. Okay.
Thank you so much. I still have a bunch
of. Hey, good luck. Let's meet one on one.
Thank you so much.
I thank you for your trust.
Thank you. Esther was the next. Your question is.
It's going to be a quick one, actually. It just made me think. What Lucia said about the issue, do you know if YouTube is planning to split the channel managements like the Spotify for artists, or because we need to share the password between each other, what is not really secure, let's say.
I think this tool is available, or this feature is available, that you can add external managers to your channels without giving out the whole Google accounts accessibility, like emails and passwords. You can add managers and different external people to your channel without being able to delete that, or with different level of administration rights. Did you mean that?
Yeah, I did mean that. Thank you. I'll look it up.
Okay.
Add or remove managers from your channel, from your brand channel.
Okay, thank you. The next one is Doxin Kavala.
Hey, Doxin Kavala.
Okay, thank you. I'm representing them today. I'm not one of them, sadly. They got COVID. But thank you very much, Andras, for your presentation. It was very insightful. I wanted to ask you for your opinion concerning, it's also about YouTube, about this curating channel, if we can call them this way. I'm thinking about, for example, Harakiri Diat, who helped Molshad Domat being famous first.
Yeah.
How does it work, and what do you think personally about them? Like, is it interesting, for example, for a band or for a label to use them as promotion?
Again, which channel? Because I just missed that part. Creator channel?
For example, like this curating channel, for example, Haraki Diet is like
Okay,
it's
okay.
really just
To
a
use
channel.
it, okay,
I don't know
okay.
how they
Got
manage
it.
content.
Got it. Okay, you're thinking about cross promotion. So you have your own channel, but they're probably in a genre specific channel with hundreds of thousands subscribers, and they ask you to upload there your official music video instead of to your play. Yeah. Okay. This is always like you have to see the balance between what they give and what you receive. I would always say if you want to if you want to somehow exploit, their reach because it's relevant, and it seems like it's relevant because you're thinking about it. I mean, it must be relevant for the genre. It must be relevant for the audience of the channel. So if you see this channel is, could be perfect. Yeah, if you upload there the official music video, or your next video, at least ask some sort of cross promotion to that transfer the viewers back to your channel with cards, with the description. Somehow, and I don't know if they're open to this or not. Some of them are. Some of them say no, but somehow bridge this video with your channel as well. Even I would say if I would be a curated channel owner, already have a massive reach in some genre specific stuff, I would give this to you, and if you would give me the original content, and I would say do the lyric video of the same, so use the same metadata, but with say different creative formats. So if you give the, I don't know, the electronic live video or the lyric video with the band name, title, category, lyric video, then try to create another creative formats with the same sound recording. Okay, and that would probably bridge by the algorithm as well, and ask them to give them some sort of cross promotion, even a card or even a description to collect subscribers as well.
Okay, thank you very much.
Okay, thank you. Last question from Koala Voice, please.
Hey, Koala Voice. They had the most fun. I've seen it.
Hey, thank you for this course. Actually, I think that we have a lot to do when we find out that we didn't do some homework. And the question regarding YouTube and this monetization, I heard some I don't know, back in years or so, that we need to have 1 million, I don't know, views or something that we can apply on that. And now, before you mentioned that it's 1,000 subscribers and 4,000 hours of so now we have that probably, I mean, sure. And what do we have to do now? I mean, is it easy, or we have to go step by step? Do we have to be pay attention or something?
So if you reach the threshold, you have 1,000 subscribers and the 4,000 hours watch time in the last 365 days. If you have a distributor, do you?
Not really. I mean, for Slovenia, no, because I think he's.
You don't. Okay, so the answer is no. So I mean, I wouldn't advise to none of you to start channel monetization with your original sound recordings, but if you do, you can. So you can actually start. You go to the create a YouTube studio under your channel. You find the monetization subpage. You go to the monetization subpage. This will show you, or even this will send you an email that you reached the monetization threshold, and then you apply for the monetization. Here comes the little bit more like tricky part. You have to link your channel to the AdSense account under the same Google account. AdSense is the service that enables you to add a bank card and then actually receiving revenues via AdSense. In this sense, you have to be a sole entrepreneur, so you have to be, this is a revenue that you generate, so legally it must be somehow backed up, if you know what I mean. Tax and et cetera, and all these kind of things. But you actually apply for the monetization after you, if you see that you reach the threshold, push the button on the monetization page in your YouTube studio, in the dashboard or behind your channel, and then it will guide you through step by step what you have to do. You have to create an AdSense under the same Google account, AdSense account, link that channel with the AdSense account, link a bank card to the AdSense, and then create content, because without content you won't create money. It's like it's simple. It's ad revenues. Okay. Google place ads on videos. If you're not creating videos, Google won't be able to place ads on it. And then you just have to create as much viewership and continue and create content and storytelling and have fun with the video and just enjoy yourself as much you just enjoyed yourself on that couch with videos. I've seen you. It's no offense. I loved you. I love you. You two guys, you were like total communicative with each other. While I was like speaking so much massive amounts of information. So, but that's fun. You should have fun with video and content. If you start to monetize your own channel, you have to think about as a YouTuber, and a YouTuber needs at least 2-3 years without any audience, and you have to be really, really consistent and regular in YouTube, and you have to create
so you said
lots of content to generate visible money, let's say.
So you said you actually wouldn't recommend to do that if we only have a channel that is, music videos and.
No, because it's mainly okay. This way of monetization mainly created to YouTubers who are creating content as a beauty vlogger, as a gamer, and when you go with your own sound recordings, you have the content ID as well, and as a channel owner, you won't receive the access to the content ID. So to optimally generate revenues on YouTube, you have to activate all three. Most of the artists hasn't reached the channel monetization threshold. They just use the distributor for content ID and delivering art tracks to the YouTube Music. And then when they have the channel, then many artists are monetizing their channels themselves, and then asking the distributor to whitelist the channel, not being bothered by content ID matching. And I would say what I experienced in the last 7 years working with close with YouTube and YouTube related issues, I would try to find one single distributor that can cover all three: content ID, channel monetization, and YouTube art track deliveries. I think you're from Slovenia. I think like, I don't know, the State 51 Conspiracy can available. I think Believe Digital available, in-groups available. I mean, if you're around already being a part of such market development program as an award winner from your market, you already reached 1,000 subscribers. Most of the bands are not there yet. I would try to ask some, are you self-managed or you have managers, or one of you is the manager?
We're self-managed. I mean, yeah. Yeah, there's 4 of us, so we all have different
tasks
to
do.
Okay. I would say come to the one-on-one, and I will try to collect you different possibilities and different ways to find distributors to do this. But go through and check the channel monetization. But if you start monetizing a channel by yourself, you need more content and you need regularity. We just had a conversation.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, guys.
Hey guys, keep up.
Thank you. So guys, don't hesitate to send me questions and just sign in to the one-on-one sessions with Andras Bodrogi. Thank you very much, Andras.
It's free. It's free. Okay, guys. Hey, keep up. Really, it's a massively challenging thing that's happening around us with us. It's insane. This was so much fun for me. Otherwise, my days are just front of this same shit called the PC, but not that fun. I'm watching faces, real ones in real time. This was my narcissistic live streaming experience.
We love you, Andras, you know.
Yeah, I love you. I love you. Hey, I know if you're super talented and great musicians, please keep up, create as much as you can. Write music. Use this time. Write.
Thank you. George?
Thank you, Andras. Wow, what a tsunami.
Hey, Elvis.
Well, George, you collect the questions, so everyone, we will have to probably reschedule some meetings, I guess. This was probably going to happen anyway, challenging times. And well, we'll continue and sync with everyone, with Olga, Zsolt. And I hope you had a great 2 hours with Bozan Bodrogi. And
thank you, George, for the invitation, and thank you for the possibility to inspire more artists around. And this is beautiful, great. I'm cheesy, I know.
Very soon, and have a good evening then, everyone.
Yeah, go Netflixing now.
See you next week.
Cheers.
Bye, guys.
Thank you, guys.
Bye, everyone.
Bye.
Take care.
Bye.
Bye. Thank you very much.
Bye.
Bye, thanks.